This is my art style. More new art that I made in the last week. Here's one I'm still working on, and here's a digital one as well. I do various kinds of art, and I've been doing it for a while. And I've changed and gotten a bit better every year. I started when I was pretty young, and while I'm not too sure how young I started, I do have a few old drawings from back then. I don't do art for work, or as a way to make money, although perhaps one day I might, but the reason I started was because during the pandemic, I got bored and wanted to find a hobby I could enjoy no matter where I was. As long as I had some simple tools with me, I could do what I love. Eventually, I fell into drawing. I post these videos mainly to show off and maybe start a bigger community on my page, but I just want to create an online channel just to show my artwork and maybe give inspiration to others. As I've continued with drawing, I've continued evolving my art bit by bit, but I've stayed consistent to what kind of art I wanted to do. Cartoonish, manga, anime look is what I've been working on, and I truly enjoy how unrealistic characters can still be deeply loved and cherished as real people can. I love watching cartoons, and I have for much of my childhood. Possibly have been greatly inspired by many of them along the way. It doesn't matter what exact show I was watching, I like being entertained, and I love the bright colors and moving visuals, as well as the characters and scenery. But I don't think I paid much attention to that when I was younger. I just enjoyed it and liked it. Now I do appreciate more of these animations and what they have brought to my life and others, as well as my artistic work. But I've also had people who've been inspiring to me for a long time. My mom and dad aren't into art, but they have their own creative ways of doing things. Sure, it's not art-related, but they've inspired me to keep drawing and always do my best work, as all good parents should. Although a friend of my mom has inspired my art more, she is actually an artist who can create these landscape pictures. I always thought it was cool that she could just paint these on a blank canvas and create whatever she wanted or saw. And then I started growing up more. In 7th grade, I truly found out that I was into art, but just a simple eye drawing that inspired me to do more art to improve my already growing art skills. As I've progressed through the years, I've learned that I'm good at some things and good at others, what I can do and what I can't do. I love drawing characters, people who are fantasy creatures that come from all sorts of mythology. I love giving them clothes of any design that I want, hair of any type, expression to show who they are, and even backstories to the ones who I've really gotten connected with and draw more. I have about 10 I've drawn over and over again, and I love evolving their stories and lives. I love crafting how they're going to look and what patterns or symbols might represent the characters. Male, female, with either mermaid tails or claws or anything creative I can add. Characters are my favorite, and it's all what's in my sketchbook, and it's all what I've drawn in my sketchbooks. Yet, I struggle deeply with the shading, and the only time I really shade is digital. I can't do it on paper, although I try. Another big thing I struggle with is backgrounds, which is why so many of my characters are standing in an empty void of white. I can draw a simple floor, but that's about it. The dynamic of the world around me is hard to draw, and I struggle with the proportions of the characters and how they would look in the environment. I can't do realism very well, and that's why I've always stuck with cartoonish anime figures. The biggest struggle for me is, believe it or not, sketching. I've struggled with doing simple, messy sketches, and I hate having to look at something so unfinished. All my sketches turn into final products because I can't stand the scribbled, unfinished pencil lines. It always has to be done, finished with marker and colored pencils or pens. And yes, I understand this doesn't sound like a real struggle, but for me, it is. It feels like a problem, as it always seems like I rush to finish my art, and I'll miss out on any cooler ideas I could draw. But by the time I realize I should have done this or could have done that, it's in marker and I can't erase it. It's done, permanently etched in my sketchbook. Probably why I like digital art for the undo button. Picasso, Frida Kahlo, Leonardo, Junji Ito, Akira Toriyama, and many animated YouTubers and more have been inspiring me throughout the years. I may not draw similar to them or draw in their styles as they do, but their work fascinates me and inspires me to keep going and strive to do art in all different ways. I love how the art tells a story either in a book or an animation or on a still canvas. Each of their works tells something about the artist and the world around them. I also want to express that through my art and my depiction of characters. There is nothing more I love than telling the backstories of my characters and having an inspiration in my mind on how I can draw them. I feel much more free when I draw because art doesn't have to follow rules. Sure, there are tips and tricks to get it better at art and make it more realistic, or a certain way, but you don't have to follow that. Creating your own style can be more personal and more enjoyable than trying to copy other artists. But as someone who is still trying to fully find my art style, I admit that I sometimes do copy artists' works, but it can reveal what art styles you can enjoy and create. And it's how I improve my art skills as an artist. It's fun to see other people's art and try to copy it because it shows that you like the style of the art that the artist did. However, always make sure to leave room for your own ideas. Being a creative artist is all about creating something you made and wanting to share it with the world. Although I've been drawing for a while, my skills tend to be limited. There is always something that stops me from enjoying art at times, and always something that makes me feel like I'm doing it all wrong. Yes, I should improve, but how? Why? What makes my art feel incomplete or messy? Art makes me feel this way at times when I don't feel very confident about it. After I draw something, I might look down at it in shame as the picture I've been inspired to make this art doesn't look like mine, or the image I got inspiration from is so much better and cleaner than mine. It's almost like I'm just not good enough for art, as so many other people seem to have it better and seem to know what they're doing, while I'm over here struggling with a pose or a design that I seemingly can't do, while the artist who made it seemingly can do it so easily. And it's not just on the internet. Seeing others in real life sketch such perfect characters and backgrounds in their own sketchbooks make me feel as if they're naturally good, while I'm not. I always see the imperfections in my art, and that certainly puts me down. Every line I messed up, every hand or body position that I can't get right, it hurts to feel like I'm not good enough for this. While I do respect critical and fair judgment, some people can just be rude, and that always scares me to show my art. The internet is a good example of that, which is why showing the mistakes I don't prefer doing. It's why I tend to leave them out. I know it doesn't bother anyone, but I feel overly pressured to reach a standard that I just can't make. I can't do art like many others, and I can't seem to get any of these right. Am I even good enough to draw? Despite my troubles as a moderately skilled artist, I shouldn't have to hold up my standards to people who've possibly been drawing for years. I have about 6 to 5 years of experience and only 4 or 3 real years of actually trying to make my art better, make it more presentable to the public. Because for most of my drawing experience, I never meant to show it to anybody, never meant for it to become a grade, or be in a competition, or judged by others. I shouldn't judge myself too harshly because I've got a lot more to work on than do. I'm sure everyone knows that nothing is going to come easily to them. You gotta work for it and slowly, step by step, achieve the knowledge of how to do it. Giving up is an option, but it's not always the best one. At times I feel so down about the art that I have an art block and don't do anything. Just stare at a blank piece of paper. But I have found ways to help. I'll find my favorite creators and get inspired from them. I'll find something I know I have the potential to draw and draw that. Maybe a friend can help, or maybe I try their style. Maybe I do try and copy an artist, but I don't do everything they do, and I add my own details. What's important for me is to remember that having fun with drawing makes me want to do it more, sketch more, and learn new art skills, because maybe one day I'll be just as good as some of the artists out there. And even if I don't, hey, I don't have to be as good as them, I just have to be good enough for myself, and that makes me become a better artist. My art style is a mixture of my childhood and other artists' inspirations, struggles, and accomplishments. And I do know many other young artists struggle the way I do. Even more advanced artists will have their moments. Online, in public, learning to draw is a fun hobby, and I hope to continue it in my future. And it doesn't have to be a career. It can still be a fun hobby to do. Maybe someday I'll stretch my artist skills beyond that of just paper and a clip art document. I hope this video was a help to some people and inspiration to others out there. Since this is my first video, like this and comment on how I can improve my skills and my editing and even drawing advice I'd love to take. And if you want, like and subscribe for hopefully another video such as this. Thank you and goodbye.